You ever have one of those days where the universe just throws you headfirst into a story you never saw coming? Yeah, that's where this all began, right there in my office on the 63rd floor, staring at a city that didn't mean much to me anymore, even though people would kill for that view. I'd built this empire, Joe Rankin, king of the world, every inch polished and in control. Until the day a little girl walked past my security, my assistant, everybody, and just stood there in my doorway, tiny, determined, brown-skinned, hair a halo of curls, and eyes that went straight through me like she knew some secret about me I hadn't figured out yet. She was maybe 7, said her name was Lillian, spoke so clear and steady you'd have thought she'd practiced in the mirror 1,000 times. She had this little paper resume, written in big careful letters, listing organizing, cleaning, big words, math through division, and being quiet when needed. She told me, without a hint of embarrassment, that her mom was sick, the kind of sick you can't fix with soup or cartoons, and she needed a job to pay for medicine. I asked about her father. She just shrugged and said, he was like a shooting star gone too fast to make wishes on. And you want to laugh at that, because what 7-year-old says stuff like that? But she wasn't joking. Her hands twisted the strap on her backpack, and she tried not to cry. She said, I'll work very hard. I'm stronger than I look. And man, I gotta tell you, I'd fired grown men for less nerve than she showed that day. Legally, I couldn't hire her, but I couldn't shake the feeling I needed to help. She hesitated when I asked for her address, stranger danger and all, but finally wrote it down, and I promised I'd talk to her mom about finding some help. That night, I showed up at a brownstone in Brooklyn, paint peeling on the door but a little wreath hung with care. And then the door opened and the bottom fell out of my world. She stood there, Devin, the one who'd haunted my dreams for 7 years. She looked different, thinner, hair short, but those eyes, same as Lillian's, same as the ones in my own mirror. There was a second where she just looked at me and all the years vanished, and then the little voice behind her piped up, Mom, who is it? And it was over. She knew. I knew. Everybody in the room knew what we were dealing with. Devin tried to put on a strong face, told me we didn't need charity, but Lillian spilled the truth. She just wanted to help her mom, and she'd found that old photo of us together, the one from that charity gala all those years ago. That's when it hit me. This was my daughter. 7 years of birthdays, school plays, bad dreams, scraped knees. I'd missed everyone. And suddenly, all those board meetings and press releases seemed like the dumbest damn thing in the world. I'll be honest, the next week is a blur: calls, texts, me standing outside her school like some rookie dad trying not to screw up. I met Lillian after school, told her we'd get ice cream before heading home, watched her pick strawberry with rainbow sprinkles and talk about her mom's light getting dimmer. It killed me, hearing how she learned to recognize fear in a laugh or the way her mom leaned on the wall. And I realized, right there, this little girl deserved more than I'd ever given anyone. I promised her, pinky swear and all, that she wasn't alone, that I was sticking around. Of course, Devin fought me at every turn. She's proud, stubborn as a mule, convinced she had to do this herself. The hospital, the bills, the treatments, she tried to push through it alone, telling Lillian things were under control, but the truth was, the cancer was winning. When she collapsed at a job, I got the call, rushed to the hospital, and found myself standing in her room, fighting for her care with doctors, and eventually for the right to be Lillian's father on paper, not just in the way I felt. The twist? It turned out I'd tried to find Devin after that night 7 years ago, called, sent flowers, tried everything, but she'd seen some engagement notice in the paper and thought I'd been playing her. Meanwhile, she was out sick, her coworkers missed the message, and just like that, our lives split in two. Sometimes, you don't realize how much pain can hide in all the stuff you don't say. When things got bad, when the cancer treatment started to really take her down, Devin finally agreed to move into my penthouse. Lillian needed stability. She needed her mom to be able to fight, and for the first time, all 3 of us lived under the same roof. Let me tell you, there's nothing like seeing your kid, one you never knew you had, start to call you Dad, and mean it. The first time Lillian reached for my hand at bedtime, I nearly lost it. She trusted me, even when I was still learning how to do the basics, styling her hair, with YouTube tutorials, helping with homework, making her breakfast while worrying I was screwing it all up. I'm not saying it was easy. Devin kept her walls up. She agreed to all this for Lillian's sake, not for me, not even for herself, or so she said. But every night, when Lillian would sneak into our room for just one more story, or draw a family picture with 3 stick figures instead of 2, you could see her mom's armor crack just a little. Then came the night Devin spiked a fever and everything hit the fan. Sleet rattled the windows, the nurse was panicking, and I was running up the stairs with my heart in my throat. The next 24 hours were hell, ICU, doctors in and out, pneumonia threatening to undo all the progress we'd made. And for the first time, I thought, this is it. I finally found them, and I'm gonna lose her before I even get the chance to make things right. I sat in the hospital chapel at dawn, praying to any power that would listen, bargaining, promising whatever I had left. When Dr. Forrest found me, she said, "We're cautiously optimistic." And man, I've never felt relief like that in my life. I held Devin's hand in that hospital bed, promised her she wasn't alone, I finally told her, I needed her. Not just for Lillian, but for me. We took her to Switzerland for a treatment protocol the doctors said was her best shot. Just the three of us, no meetings, no distractions. Every day, I watched Lillian's laughter come back, watched Devin rediscover her strength, watched us slowly become a family, not perfect, but real. I bought Devin a tiny silver camera pendant, hoping she'd remember who she was outside of being sick and tired. We'd sit together at night, talking about all the things we should have said years ago, how much it hurt, how afraid we were, how much we wanted to believe this wasn't all just temporary. I told her, this is my real life now. You, Lillian, that's all that matters. She looked at me, finally let down her guard, and said, if something happens to me, will you take care of her? Not just the bills, no, her favorite foods, her allergies, all of it. And I swore I would. Not because I felt guilty, but because that little girl was the best thing I'd ever had a hand in making, and her mom, well, she was the bravest person I'd ever met. Some nights, after Lillian's asleep, Devin and I still talk about the what-ifs. What if she'd picked up the phone? What if I hadn't been so buried in my own life? What if we just told each other the truth from the start? But every morning, she's there, a little stronger, and every day, Lillian draws a new picture for the fridge, and it's not just her and her mom anymore. It's all three of us, arms linked, a family rebuilt from broken pieces. Look, I don't know how this story ends. Nobody does. But I do know I'll fight for them with everything I've got, money, muscle, prayers, whatever it takes. And maybe that's the point. Sometimes you don't get to choose the story you're thrown into, but you damn sure get to choose whether you show up for the people who need you. If you're still listening, ask yourself, what would you do if someone you loved needed you, right now? No excuses. Would you let your pride, your mistakes, or your fear hold you back? Or would you just show up, the way a real family does? So yeah, drop a heart, leave your story. Tell me, what's family mean to you? Who's worth fighting for? Where does justice end and love begin? Because if you ask me, the real story isn't about how we fall. It's about how we come back together, one messy, imperfect day at a time.